Hello and welcome to the Fierce Urgency of Now in Today's Schools podcast. I am Dr. Cynthia Mama J. Johnson, a voice of hope in education, and I will be your host. Thank you, as always, for joining me for another episode. Before we jump in, let me remind you why we gather. The Fierce Urgency of Now in Today's Schools podcast is dedicated to disrupting, interrupting, and dismantling barriers to changing student outcomes in our nation's schools. Why? Because our children need us now more than ever before, so we've got to come together to figure out what needs to be done to meet children where they are, not leave them there, but to elevate them to a whole new level. And I want you to know today that my guest is one of those individuals. Keila Jackson-Anderson, welcome to the show today.
Thank you, Mama J. It is such a privilege to be here, or should I call you Dr. Johnson? I
You
know
can
you as
call me
Mama
Mama J. That's how you know me.
J. That's how I know you.
That's right. I love it. I love it. Let me take a moment to tell the audience just a little bit about who you are, and I'll try to contain my excitement, okay? But let me tell you a little bit about Keila Jackson-Anderson. First of all, she's a native of St. Louis, Missouri. Professionally, Keila is a licensed clinical social worker in the state of Missouri and Kansas. She earned a bachelor's degree in social work in 2014 from the University of Central Missouri in Warrensburg, Missouri, my hometown. And she earned a master's of social work in 2015 from the University of Kansas. This is the part I love about Keila because I know her heart. Keila finds joy in working with individuals with disabilities of all ages. Her passion is working with youth, especially at-risk youth. You know, those children that I love, those children that some people want to throw away, but what I always say is throw them my way because those are the children that I absolutely love. Today, she is a trauma sensitive school clinician in Kansas City Public Schools. But let me tell you just a little bit more about her. You know that she's got certification in Missouri and Kansas. But let me tell you where this next license takes her and gives her rule over the world. It says Keila was licensed as a minister at Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church in Warrensburg, Missouri in July of 2016, where she served as an associate minister until 2022. She was ordained in March of this year, 2025, under the leadership of Pastor James A. Terrence of Friendship Baptist Church of Kansas City, Missouri. Excuse me, my voice is already gone because I'm about ready to shout right there. She enjoys singing and volunteering. And Keila, I'm gonna stop right there because I want you to tell us more about your journey and your work today.
Absolutely. So, first of all, I'm already taking notes. I love the quote of you say throw them away, but I say throw them my way. The ones that you want to
Yes,
throw away.
yes,
I love that.
yes.
Um,
And can I tell you something real quick?
yes.
God gave me that all the way back at the beginning of my teaching career. I'm
Wow.
going all the way back 35 plus years. That's when
Wow.
God gave me those words. Yes, I
I
love it.
absolutely love that. So I am a little girl from the south side of St. Louis. Many don't know this if I don't share my testimony, but I was deemed not supposed to be able to walk and to not function as a typical child, let alone be a functioning adult in our society. And God
Right,
said otherwise from the very
right.
beginning.
Yes, yes. Come on now.
And
Woo!
yes.
Go ahead, go ahead.
So I truly do live out my life to serve God. I remember struggling at 17 and I'd say, God, if you rescue me from myself, I will live for you. And so
Yes,
that's what I try to do every day. And
yes,
so absolutely love being a social worker. I love serving children and I love serving God.
yes. And what I also love is that not only do you rescue children, but you rescue families.
Yes,
Yes, because when you lift a child, you lift a family. So
absolutely.
that
And
is so absolutely beautiful. Um, Keila and I are going to work our hardest tonight, not to turn this into choir rehearsal, because I'm telling you right now, I met this
Yeah.
young lady when she was a college student at the University of Central Missouri. I went home to visit my home church, which is Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church. And I don't get home that often, but I got a chance to meet her. And when I met her, I fell in love. And so when she asked, "Can I call you Dr. Johnson or Mama J?" She doesn't know me as Dr. Johnson. She just knows me as Mama J. And I want to say officially for the record, before we started recording, Papa J
Yeah.
got on the Zoom just to say hello to
Yeah.
um, Minister Keila Jackson-Anderson. So we just going to say Reverend now. When I talk about minister, she is a servant. That's what I love. So Keila, let's jump into our very first question. I know that you have a heart for service, and
Mhm.
that is a gift, that is a talent that God has given you to serve. But let's talk about it for a moment. What brings you to the work of educating today's youth, and what keeps you doing the work?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question and one that I carry on my heart on a daily basis.
Okay.
And I tell my students all the time, and I remind myself I became the mentor that I wish I had.
Woo! Come on
So
now.
yeah, that's my
Yes.
motto. I started out in school as a teacher. I knew that I could not carry the mantle, and so I wiggled my way in as a social worker. It has always been my desire to serve
Right.
at the middle school realm, which I do currently and have for many years. And I became who I am because I wished that I would have had a mentor when I was younger. So to this day, my sixth grade teacher, who was my mentor, unspoken, such a lovely woman. She got me her first year of teaching. So
Wow.
it's
Wow.
very non-traditional child. And she really was the one that sort of put the fire under me and told me that I can be anything that I put my mind to. And I had a
Right.
principal encourage me because I was the child that nobody wanted. I was the one with the
Right.
safe seat in the teacher next to me's class.
Right.
And
Right.
so shout out to
Mm.
Mrs. Dietrich, who is a literal lifesaver. And I still to this day have the privilege to go home to St. Louis to surprise her in her classroom, still to this day to tell her thank you.
Love it. I love it. I love it. Talk to me a little bit about your mentors that you had in college, because I know that you were a McNair scholar. Is that correct?
I
Come
am.
on now. Come on. Tell that story. People need to know
Dr.
your
J, how did you
story.
know I was a McNair?
Come on. I know you. Go on.
You really do know the tea.
Yes.
So this is so interesting. I have the privilege to be mentored by Dr. Carrie Azevedo. Oh, Mama J, you couldn't make me cry.
Come on.
So, a little backstory about the McNair acceptance at the University of Central Missouri back in 2014, well,
Yes.
2013, is that I had actually received a denial letter from McNair.
Hmm.
And I really felt like, y'all, I'm not going to cry on this podcast.
Okay. Go ahead. Talk. Talk. Come
I
on.
really felt like that was God's first time telling me no.
Hmm.
And I don't know about anybody else, but I really feel like I'm spoiled and God really does favor me. And so when I got this denial letter, I was so let down. I mean, like boohoo cried, went home and went to sleep, cried.
Wow.
And I got a phone call hours later and they said, Kiki, would you like to be in McNair?
Hmm.
And she said that as soon as the student who had gotten the slot dropped, she said, I knew in my heart that you were to be a McNair scholar.
Right.
And so that was my journey to McNair. And to this day, I am close to the director of the McNair Scholars Program at the University of Central Missouri.
Yes.
She has a birthday coming up in November. And I remember one day I texted her and told her that she was on my heart and I was hoping that she was doing well. And her exact words to me were, you didn't know this, but God did. And today is my birthday.
Come on now.
And so ever since then, we have stuck together and we
Right.
tell each other God stories all the time, but a
Yes.
fantastic woman who I still have a
Ooh, I love
relationship
it.
with today.
I love it. I love it. That is so absolutely powerful. Because one of the things I want people to see is that you have a journey, you have a
Yeah.
story, and
Yes.
all of us have a story. And I have a sign up here that says, there is glory. I don't know if you can see, there is
Yes.
glory in your
In my
story,
story.
and there is glory in your story. You hear what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Uh-huh.
So, we just give praises for that. And I love the fact that you've taken that mentorship that you have, that you were given. You didn't have it maybe when you were younger, but
Yeah.
there were a couple people that came
Mhm.
along, and then in
Yes.
college, another person that came along, that principal, all those. a teacher, all those different people that have come
Yes.
along to encourage you, to lift you. Woo! I tell you,
Yeah.
that's what life is all about. Is
Hmm.
helping one another, lifting one another. And now what I love is that you've taken all of that that you've learned
Yeah.
and that people have poured into you. And it doesn't have to be 100 people.
Yeah.
But if you have one that is
Hmm.
willing to take the time and pour into you and say, you are somebody special, I
Yeah.
believe in you, I love you, I
Yeah.
love everything about you, I love your smile, everything,
Yeah.
that person can feel your heart and give you hope and give
Yeah.
you strength to carry on. I love
Absolutely.
that. I love that.
Yeah.
And that's what you do for the students that you work with in Kansas City Public Schools, but not just in Kansas City Public Schools, but all over. I know that you do volunteering
Hmm.
at a camp every single summer. I remember several years ago because you were talking about it's so hot and things, and I said, "Oh, now make sure you get you some Gatorade and things so you can keep hydrated." Like I'm walking around like I'm Mama J for real. And
No, because you are.
yeah, but it's just exciting to see how now you are pouring into other people and pouring into children. That is what is so absolutely thrilling. So let's
Yeah.
get to the next question that really is the focus for our entire podcast. Um, God inspired me to put this podcast together. Somebody would have said, you're going to do a podcast. It was almost a year ago, November. You're going to do this podcast. I'm like, do what? Do a podcast? I don't know anything about doing a podcast. I'm doing good to click buttons. I'm in amazement every single time I'm clicking recording. I'm like, it's recording, it's recording. That's a whole nother story. But let me get to the reason why I have the title about the fierce urgency and now of now. In Dr. King's speech, I Have a Dream, people always remember the ending, maybe, free at last, thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. Those are beautiful words, but towards the beginning of the I Have a Dream speech are the words, the fierce urgency. And at that time, he was talking about the fierce urgency as we tackle and address injustice and discrimination and racism and all these different topics that were holding us bound. And he was talking about the fierce urgency of now that we've got to move, we've got to do something, we've got to collectively come together. So when I heard those words and I read those words again and again and again, I said, that same urgency is the urgency we've got to have in our schools
Yes.
to come together and to meet children where they are and to
Yes.
help them become better and be better so that they can always remain better. So, keeping all of that in mind from your experience as a social worker,
Mhm.
as a trauma clinician, you deal with things that people can't even imagine. From your perspective, what is the fierce urgency of now in today's schools?
That our students know that they too are worth the future, that they
Mm,
are the future, that they're
yes,
capable of carrying the future.
yes,
Unfortunately,
yes,
so often in
yes.
the urban core,
Uh-huh.
um, our children can't see past where they live.
Right, right,
And so, no, you are the future. And I
right,
do encourage them to travel and I do encourage them to learn. And even if it's in a trade,
right,
use the things
right.
that have been made available to them. And so that they're worth it. They're
Yeah.
worth carrying the mantle
Woo.
of holding the future and the hope of tomorrow.
Yes. Woo, woo, woo.
Yeah.
I tell you what. Woo, the hope of tomorrow. I know
Yeah.
you see all that hope back there
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
believe in hope. Because
Mhm.
hope is that expectation that keeps you going, even regardless of how things look. Even
Mhm.
though we've got crime, especially in the urban core, there's things
Yeah.
going on that 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 many of our children have experienced that maybe we've never experienced. I'm from just a little small country town, and I
Mhm.
haven't always experienced some of the things that some of the children have experienced in their urban core.
Yeah.
But one of the things I can say, even in my little small urban town, we had nothing but hope. We had faith. We had joy. We had love. Those things are what carried us through. And when you give that hope to children and when you remind children that what did you say? You said you are worthy,
Yeah.
worthy. Hey, to carry the mantle
Yes.
for the present and for the future. I threw that present in there because I want them to know that you have something to offer right here, right now. I don't care if you don't have the designer shoes on. I don't care if you don't have the designer clothes on. I
Yeah.
don't care if your hair may not look exactly like you want it to look like. You are worthy.
Yes. Yes.
Take a moment and tell our audience, how do you help a child understand that they are worthy?
One of my favorite questions for a child is, what is your hope for the future?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I know that this question gets a lot of slack because we don't always make it to what it is that we want to accomplish.
Right.
But I think in the moment, it gives a child the opportunity to see beyond middle school.
Right.
And so often we get stuck, and this is all I know. And tomorrow it's going to be like this, and the next day. But
Mm,
oftentimes children don't know that the transcript starts at ninth grade.
right.
So if I don't prepare you in sixth, seventh, and eighth
Right.
grade
Right.
to get ready for the transcript that will follow you,
Right.
then oftentimes it's too late. And
Right.
so just for them to know that it doesn't stop here, baby. What is your goal for the future? And to
Right.
always know that it can change.
Right.
But I do want to pause right here because I work in a building where a lot of the students are bilingual.
Okay. Yes.
And that's
Yes.
often a gift that they don't know is a gift.
Right. Right.
And that
Right.
they feel ashamed that they have accents and that English isn't the first language.
Right.
But when they are bilingual,
Right.
I
Right.
always want to
Woo.
instill in them that they are so worthy of
Yes.
so much more than having an accent. And like you said, not having on designer shoes, but your future is so bright. And I
Yes.
think oftentimes if they can see that the future is bright, they're
Right.
willing to push toward
Right.
it.
Right. Right. You said the future is so bright. I've always got some props so here somewhere. You see my word?
I do.
Shine bright. That's what
Yes.
I want children to do. I want them
Yes.
to know that you can shine bright
Yes.
in this world. And the particular school that you're talking about is a school that, wow, back in 2013, that I co-led that construction project. And when you walk into that school and you see all of those different languages that says welcome,
Yeah.
at that time, I believe there was about 44 different languages on there. We had to go to great lengths to be able to figure out how do we say welcome in all these different languages. But
Yeah.
you're exactly right. When children realize
Yes.
that I'm bilingual, that I have a gift and I have a skill that other children may not have, other people
Yeah.
may not have,
Yeah.
that allows me to shine bright. And like I said, it's not about what I have on, it's not about
Mhm.
what's on the outside, it's what's on the inside.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love the example of how you teach children about hope. It's not, you don't have
Mhm.
to shove it down their throat.
Yeah, no.
But you know what? Even your story
Yeah.
brings them hope. Even when they see you, and
Mhm.
even I bet children see you and they say, maybe she walks with a little limp.
Yeah.
But when you tell them what has happened in your life,
Mhm.
you don't know my story. Come on now. We, we,
Yeah.
we ain't gonna sing it. We ain't gonna sing it tonight.
Okay, and all the things that I've
Woo,
been through.
woo,
But
and
Mama
all
J,
the things. Woo.
I do want to say earlier you said that I have a story
Yes,
and that I have a smile. And
yes,
oftentimes I think that people well, I'll say for my students, they don't know my story, but they see the smile and they
right,
think, man, Miss Anderson, you haven't been through anything. And I say, baby, that's where you went wrong.
right,
But I do choose to smile.
right,
And I don't compare our stories because they cannot be compared. And my
right,
endurance is going to look different than their
right,
endurance. But
right.
oftentimes people confuse smiling
Yes,
with not having a story.
right,
And that's
right.
actually the furthest from the truth. But
Furthest from the truth.
we can choose, we make a choice.
Right,
As humans, we choose. And so I could choose bitterness, or I could choose joy. And
Right.
so I choose to smile and to tell my story.
Right.
But like you said, not shoving it, but walking in a way where students are curious,
Yes.
and they
Yes.
ask questions, and I'm open about it. I've never been ashamed about
Right.
walking with a limp
Right.
because there was a time where I could have been wheelchair bound.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
so
Right. But God,
the
come on
but
now.
God. And so I'm going to take my thorn in my flesh and I'm going to go to work every day and I'm going to do what I
Yes.
love and I get to live out what I
Yes.
once dreamed about.
Woo, woo, woo. I'll tell you what, you got to preach sermon about that. When you talk about the thorn in your flesh, somebody didn't get that. But let
Yeah,
me tell you what, when they sit down and they really study, they'll understand what a thorn in the flesh is. And I'm telling you what, we all have
we
thorns in
all
our flesh,
have
but we
them. Yes.
cannot let that stop us. I
No,
could not.
no.
I could not, Reverend Jackson,
Yeah.
let my thorn in my flesh of being a stutterer. I stuttered so badly you couldn't understand the words that came out of my mouth. But God,
Mm.
growing up in
Teach,
that little bitty country church, my mama taught me how to sing. God
teach,
gave me the gift, but mama taught me how to use it.
teach.
And mama said, you just sing your words until they come out right. When they placed me in all those special ed classes and going out to the trailers because I didn't know how to read. And I think about all the way up until ninth grade and 10th grade going into all those classes. And the teacher asked me one time, do you want to get out? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do want to get out.
Mhm.
And I was able to get out
Yeah.
because she saw that I had some wings and that being in those classes and being in that structure was keeping me bound. But she said, oh, I'm going to write you out so you can get out. And I
Yeah.
began to fly.
Teach, Dr.
Come
Johnson.
on, come on. You see, so you can't let that thorn in the flesh keep you from doing things in your life. I can't let the thorn in my flesh of growing up in poverty.
Yeah. Teach.
You know, growing up in poverty, going down to Shepherd Park in Warrensburg, Missouri with a bucket, being able to get water from the spigot and we would bring it back home to be able to take a bath. That's what we had to do. But I
Teach.
don't let that stop me. So when I go through things now, come on, I'm talking to somebody today. I don't
Mhm.
let it stop me. So I don't care what's going on. We're going to do whatever we have to do to help our children become successful.
Yes.
If I have to reach down to pick them up, just like somebody reached down one day and picked
Yeah.
me up,
Uh-huh.
I'm
Teach.
gonna reach down and pick them up and carry them until
Yeah.
they're able to walk on their own. Girl, leave me alone.
Yeah.
Leave me alone, girl. I gotta get my church man out. You done got me fired up here. Oh, help me,
Teach.
help me, help me, help me.
Yeah.
Let's go to the last question.
Teach.
What I want to know, let me get this off here. Is I've got this on my screen. See, that's just see we done too much teaching tonight. You can't see it, but I can. There we go. There we go. The last question is, what are you willing to disrupt, interrupt, and dismantle, removing those barriers from children to ensure that students have access and opportunities to thrive?
That there's not one way to success.
Woo, woo. Tell me about
There's
that. Tell me
there's
about
not
that.
one way to
Come on now.
success.
Come on. Tell me about
uh, the young person who goes to get a trade from whatever trade center that they
it.
have in
Right,
their local
right,
cities to the
right.
one that will go to community college to get an associate's degree and then move
Yes,
forward to the one
yes.
who will be an entrepreneur in this economy to the
Woo.
one who will go on to get a bachelor's degree and a master's degree and a doctorate.
Yes.
There is not one way to success.
Right, 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 right. Woo. So when you work with your students,
Yeah.
how do you help them find that pathway?
I introduced them to the things in the buildings in the district that the district pays for. The
Yes,
district pays for things that our students don't often know about, and sometimes
right,
it's too late. And so, how do I prepare you in middle school for the future of not only a high school diploma? Because one
right.
of the only requests that I have as a clinician is to invite me to high school graduation.
Oh,
I'm waiting on my
right,
invitation, but I
right.
have one request, and that's make sure you remember Miss Anderson when you walk across the stage. But
Yes,
I want to tell them about money management and what it is to save, but I also want
Right,
to introduce them to the things that the district is paying for that you could go out to the local trade school and pay
right,
$20,000 for,
right,
but you
right,
have a
right,
district that's willing to sow into you. And
right,
even if you only use it for a side hustle, as our young people say, then that's what it ought to be. Don't let it stop you.
right,
And
right,
here's
right, right.
to
Woo.
a peck on the ladder as you climb higher.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. And I love it, and I love all the work that Kansas City Public Schools is doing with real world learning and
Yeah,
Kauffman Foundation. I
yes,
see on LinkedIn, oh my goodness, almost every single day where different students who are here and they're there. I think they were at the STEAM lab or something today. I mean, just so many things
yes,
that I can't even imagine if I had ever had those type of opportunities in school.
yeah.
Wow. I mean, just they have access and opportunities.
Hmm.
And I love that you said that there's more than one way.
More than one way.
There was years ago, like, always push students to go to, go to college. And I hate to say this, I don't hate to say this, but going to college is not an option. I have one of my nephews that, I mean, oh my gosh, you talking about young, black, gifted and black. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
He decided he went in for a semester. It wasn't for him.
No.
And even though he had taken all of these college courses in high school that were going to apply, and it wasn't for him.
Yeah. And that's
Th-
okay.
That's okay. There's another way.
Yes.
There's another way for him to reach his goals. I love that. So, Keila, I want to know today,
Hmm.
if you had to give educators today a call to action
Mm.
right here, right now, what would your call to action be for the fierce urgency of now in today's schools?
This is gonna be a little unconventional,
Come
but I
on,
want
talk to us.
to
That's all
say,
right.
know the art of self-care.
Come on, tell me about that.
Know the art of self-care for you as an adult who works in the field of education in
Yes. Woo, Lord.
2025. No, literally.
Yeah,
In
yeah,
2025, but also model for your students.
yeah.
Don't
Okay,
be
okay.
afraid to implement these things in your classrooms. It's okay to have a bell ringer or an exit ticket. That's a breathing exercise. It
Yes,
doesn't have to be
yes,
tied to anything, but here's to a grounding technique that's simple. We don't have to
yes,
work hard for. So finding little ways
yeah.
to create safety and rest where we are.
Mm,
Going on vacation doesn't have to be the only rest that we find
right,
because I may
right,
not be able to get away. But what if I can create in my own domain because we can only control what we can control?
right, right.
How do I create peace and intentionality in my
Yes,
space? And not only for me, but for the babies that I serve. And I call my students babies. So
yes,
how
yes,
do I instill in them to make
yeah.
them a better 11, 12, 13-year-old than I ever was by teaching them self-regulation
Hmm.
through the simplicity of breathing?
Yes, 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 yes. I love that you went to self-care because, you know, um, all of my years I've gone hard.
Yeah. Hmm.
And that caught up with me.
Yes. Hmm.
And it was on the fourth hospital visit over those
Come on.
35 plus years
Oh,
that, and thank God I came out. Everything was
yes.
all right. It was just a matter of taking care of myself.
Yes.
So now, as I look and I've learned, um, I got to take care of me because if I don't take care of me, I can't take care of you.
Yes. There's
I
nothing to
can't
do.
help you be your best if I'm not at my best.
Yes.
So, in the mornings, before we get on our prayer call, the
Mhm.
Waymaker prayer call,
Yes.
I've already gotten up and I've got my exercise in.
Yes.
And that prayer call starts at 6 because that's important to me. That I call it my prayer walk. So I'm out there, I'm doing things and just getting ready, getting my mind ready, getting my heart ready
Yeah.
for the day, entering
Mhm.
in to the time. And that self-care is so important to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And then even knocking down those seconds off of how long it takes me to walk walk a mile, you know.
Mhm.
You know, at first that wasn't important, but now I'm like, wait a minute, wait a minute.
Here's
I
the
can do it
signs
in
of
that time.
improvement.
Come on, right,
Mhm.
movement and moving my arms. It was so funny. I worked out my arms today, and I went to go reach for something. I was like, oh, I forgot this is arm day. That's why my shoulders are hurting. Okay.
Yeah, felt it in the muscles.
Right. Because I'm moving stuff that like I didn't even know I had muscles there. I'm gonna leave that
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah.
Leave that alone.
But let muscle memory lead us. Yes,
Yes,
and to
yes.
create habits and routines that are for our good. Yeah.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Let me tell you what, I so have enjoyed this conversation today. I love the that it was authentic, that it was joyful, that it was full of hope. And what I love is that you came and gave an example is what's possible in the midst of impossibilities. And I believe that our educators need to hear that and our children need to hear that as
Yeah.
well. So, in closing, I always say that it doesn't make a difference what the world looks like. I want it to be better. I don't want there to be wars and rumors of wars and tornadoes and hurricanes. I don't want all those things to be, but I know that those things are going to be.
Yeah.
I don't want people to have to stand in line to get boxes of commodities. I don't want people to have to go without SNAP benefits. I
Yeah.
don't want people to have to stand in line to get a turkey to be able to have something for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So I know that you and I are going to do our part to whatever we can do to help families, to help children. But I say this, it doesn't make a difference how dark it gets. And the world can be dark. Always know that Dr. Cynthia, Mama J. Johnson, is always going to let her light, just like it says back there behind me, I'm going to be a light for all to see. And
Yeah.
I'm going to let my light shine, let it shine, let it shine. Keila Jackson-Anderson. And let me go back. Reverend Keila Jackson-Anderson. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Thank you.
Always know that you are loved by Mama J and Papa J. Until we meet again.